What's up guys, it's Ain here, and today we're doing a loot from 10 hours of Armadyl. Now, it's been pretty slow going for Armadyl doing the 10 hours simply because, I only have been doing around 1 hour of PVMing a day just to, make sure that I don't get burnt out on it or anything like that. But we're finally done with the loot from 10 hours of Armadyl. Now, we didn't actually do that well when it comes to loot. We didn't really get that much, and you will be seeing it a little bit later in the video. However, before we do that, let's talk about the gear. So I used pretty much the maxed out range equipment. I used full Armadyl, which goes for, not full Armadyl, full Pernix, which goes for around 10 to 12 bill at the moment, and you also need to do the last journey quest. I used an Amulet of Ranging, which combined the GE for 200 mil, or buy it with 2,000 Slayer points. I used Dragon Bolts E instead of Ruby Bolts E because I found that Ruby Bolts E really made the trips go a lot slower. Not that they went slower, but that we ran out of food a lot of the time because the Ruby Bolts E do sap a lot of your health. If you don't have Dragon Bolts E, you can also use Onks or the Diamond Bolts as well, and if you're really poor, you can use Runite. Next up, we have the Max Cape. If you don't have a Max Cape, you can use an Ava's Accumulator. We have the Chaotic Crossbow, which obviously if you don't have this, you can use the Runite Crossbow. We have the Divine Spirit Shield, which if you don't have this, you can use a Elysian, a Dragonfire Shield, one of those Unholy Books, whatever you got that gives you a little bit of damage mitigation or a little bit of that offensive range bonus is pretty good. We used a Archer's Ring because we are using the XX Parrot. However, if you don't have the XX Parrot, which you can get from voting, I highly suggest using a Ring of Wealth, perhaps. Or, the Archer's Ring, really whichever one you want to use. Next up, we have the Ranger's Boots. These are really cheap, actually. They go for around 20 mil, so everybody should have a pair of these. And finally, Brawling Gloves. I used Brawling Gloves, the melee ones, because I believe it does give you the bonus HP experience instead of the range experience, because I'm not really too worried about the range experience. More so I'm worried about the HP experience because we're really close to 2 bill HP. So that's why I used these Brawling Gloves. Now if you don't have Brawling Gloves, which if you don't know, you get from getting 99 construction and they cost a little bit of GP and a couple PkHonor points, then you can also use Barrow's Gloves. They actually have the same exact stats, they just don't give you that extra XP. Now let's move on to the loot. We only got a Godsword Blade, 2 Armadyl helmets, and it's not here in the inventory, but we also got an Elite Clue Scroll. The only reason you're not seeing an Elite Clue Scroll or Elite Casket in the inventory right now is because I actually dropped it during that trip so that I would get the chance of getting more Elite Clue Scrolls, because I really just didn't feel like actually doing the Elite Clue Scroll. However, I want to give you guys an idea on how much an Elite Clue Scroll actually goes for. So all in all here, I believe Armadyl helmets are around 600 mil each. I've asked around, I've looked up on the GE a little bit every once in a while just to figure out the basic prices, and Armadyl helmets seem to be going for anywhere from 500 to 700 mil each, which is definitely an increase in price than what it used to be, which is pretty awesome. So in total, we made around 2.3 billion GP each, which might sound like a really good, profit. However, it took us 10 hours to get this amount of cash, which means that we're only making around 230 mil GP per hour, which is awesome for a new player. However, a new player isn't going to have access to things like a Divine, a Chaotic Crossbow, Pernix, etc. So they're probably not going to be getting as many kills and thus not making as much GP. So is Armadyl worth it? I definitely think that I need to do a little bit more Armadyl. I feel like 10 hours of Armadyl just simply wasn't enough. So I'm thinking actually about doing loot from Armadyl hilt. So I keep on doing Armadyl until I get an Armadyl hilt, and then once we get the Armadyl hilt, I'll show you all the loot I get, all the helmets, all the Godsword shards, all the plate skirts and chest plates and things of that nature. And I think that'll give us an overall better idea on what the loot is from Armadyl. But overall, from just this video standpoint, if you were just watching this video, you'd probably think that Armadyl isn't the best way to make money, and you're right, it probably isn't. However, it is an enjoyable method of making money, and it is fairly easy to do as well. I believe I actually have an Armadyl guide up on YouTube. There'll be a link to that in the description below. But I'm going to continue to do Armadyl until I get a hilt, and you'll see a video from that. However, if you'd like to see a different kind of loot from 10 hours video, then please comment below. I know a lot of people want me to do 10-hour loots from Glaciers, which I might be doing, and various other monsters, but if you have a different idea, then please comment below. And if you have any ideas for other videos I could do, then comment below as well. And that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and that's about it. Peace.